Good evening, you're watching TKC Daily, where we make sense of the global events with straight facts and sharp analysis. Tonight on the show, we start with the irony in Ukraine-Russia war. President Trump, during his campaign rally, said he would settle the war in 24 hours. But today, after 100 days being in office, he has walked away from Russia-Ukraine peace negotiations. We will explain every angle to this story. Then President Trump finally fires National Security Advisor Mike Waltz after Signal Gate, but nominates him for the UN seat. But there is a twist, and we will decode. Meanwhile, AFD classified as extreme right by German intelligence. Will Germany ban AFD now? Also on the show, China-linked group accused of meddling in Australian elections. And finally, is Pakistan's military tightening its grip on the power with the soft coup? Is Pakistan moving towards a military rule again? All this is lined up. Let's begin. During his campaign rally, Donald Trump made a bold promise. He said, I will end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. Well, it's been a few months, and something did happen in the last 24 hours, just not what anyone expected. This week, the Trump administration officially withdrew the United States from all peace negotiations between Ukraine and Russia. That's right. The country that once led every major diplomatic push to stop the war is now saying, you two figure it out, we are done. According to the State Department, America will no longer indulge in quote-unquote shuttle diplomacy, no more flying across the world to try and get Putin and Zelensky to agree on anything. Spokesperson Tammy Bruce said, and I quote, we will no longer fly around the world at the drop of a hat. That's diplomatic language for, we are tired, good luck. But if you have been following the signals, and also we discussed on the show, this didn't come out of nowhere. Senior Trump officials had been hinting all week that this was the D-Day of diplomacy and it was coming soon. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, even said Trump would decide this week whether to keep trying or walk away completely. And now he has walked away completely. Behind closed doors, frustrations had been building up. Trump was annoyed with Zelensky from the very starting, calling him a dictator and even suggesting that Ukraine needed a leadership change. But lately, Trump's irritation seemed to turn around Putin as well. And that's where it gets even more ironic. Despite bending over backwards to offer Russia a deal that looked like a gift basket, even Putin said no. Russia rejected it, called for even more demands and walked away from the table. So Trump did what Trump does, he quit. But the timing, absolutely wild. Because just 24 hours earlier, the US has signed a major minerals deal with the Ukraine, one that clearly favored American interests. It was supposed to be the show that Washington was all in on helping Ukraine's long-term security. Even Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the deal signaled our commitment to the free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine. And yet, not even a full day later, Trump pulls the plug on peace talks. But let's be clear, the US had proposed 3 ceasefire deals. Ukraine accepted all 3. Russia rejected every single one, all of them. And somehow Trump got angry with Ukraine. He even briefly suspended military and intelligence aid to Kiev, to Ukraine, while still flirting with a trade deal with Russia. Priorities. So here we are, from I'll solve it in 24 hours to we are out in 24 hours. This wasn't the solution that he promised, but technically it was a 24-hour decision. Another day, another reshuffle at Trump's White House 2.0. President Donald Trump has finally removed his National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. But in classic Trump fashion, he did not send him packing. Instead, he handed him a shiny consolation prize, the US ambassadorship to the United Nations. Yes, Waltz is out as the man overseeing America's national security, but he might soon be in a UN seat, representing the world's most powerful nation. Is this a promotion or a polite political exile? I will let you decide, but in the meantime, I'll give you more details. Trump posted the move on Truth Social, thanking Waltz for his service and praising his patriotism. From the battlefield to Congress to the White House, Trump wrote, Mike has always put America first. That's quite generous, considering Waltz is being shown the door after accidentally adding a journalist to a Signal group chat where sensitive military strike plans were discussed. Yes, classified conversations on Yemen with the editor of The Atlantic accidentally looped in. This wasn't just a leak, it was a group chat gone rogue. This is a mistake that even an intern would not make, and that slip up wasn't the only problem. White House insiders say that there were complaints about Walls' poor vetting of NSC staff and an overall sense that the ship wasn't being tied sturdily. So why not just fire him? Well, sources say Trump still likes Waltz. So instead of a public shacking, he gave him a soft landing. But there is a twist. Waltz's nomination may never even get confirmed by the Senate. A neat way to push someone out without the drama of a firing. In the meantime, the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, already juggling diplomacy, aid, and the National Archives, will also serve as Acting Security Advisor (NSA). That makes him the first since Henry Kissinger to wear both hats, big shoes to fill in, and even bigger calendar to manage for both him and his team. Meanwhile, back at the White House, Waltz was spotted still using Signal chatting with none other than Vice President J.D. Vance. So no lessons learned. As for Waltz's replacement, the rumor mill is buzzing. The real estate buddy of Donald Trump, Steve Witkoff, or veteran Trump envoy Rick Grenville, may be next in the line. And because Washington never misses a good meme, Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz joked on X. He wrote, "Mike Waltz has left the chat," to which we want to say, "Yes, Governor," and now he's logging in from the United Nations. Well, at least let's give him this hope. In a dramatic and unprecedented move, Germany's top intelligence agency has officially labeled the far-right political party Alternative for Germany (AFD) as the extremist entity. This declaration by the Federal Office for the Protection of the Constitution, also known as BFV, marks a serious turning point in German politics. The question is, why does this matter? Well, in February 2025, AFD stunned the national election by coming second in federal elections, winning over 20% of the votes and grabbing 152 out of 630 seats in the Bundestag. Since then, their popularity has only grown, but now they face intense scrutiny not just for their policies, but for their ideology. According to the BFV, the AFD promotes a worldview based on race and ancestry and refuses to accept migrants, especially Muslims, as equal members of German society. That's not just controversial. In Germany, given its Nazi past, that's legally dangerous. AFD leaders are crying foul. They say this is quote-unquote politically motivated attack meant to smear them, just as Germany prepares for a new government under conservative leader Friedrich Merz. They are already playing the victim card, arguing they are being silenced by the political elite. But let's be real, this isn't a sudden reaction. The AFD was already under surveillance in several eastern German states and had long been flinting the neo-Nazi rhetoric. In fact, some party members were caught using banned Nazi slogans, and the party has openly embraced the idea of remigration, a coded term for mass deportations. Despite this, AFD's influence is spreading fast, even drawing international attention. Just before the election, US Vice President J.D. Vance met the AFD co-leader Alice Weidel. Tech Mongol Elon Musk also backed the party, live streaming a chat with Weidel and encouraging Germans to vote for AFD. Now that the party is officially classified as extremist, Germany's spy agency can wrap up surveillance, recruit informants, and monitor communications even more closely and even more aggressively. Some politicians say this should be the first step towards banning the party entirely, though that would require action by the parliament or the constitutional court, so it is not that easy. Since World War II, only two parties have been banned in Germany. So the question is, will AFD be the third one? For now, one thing is clear: Germany is drawing a line, and the battle over what defines democracy in modern Europe just got a lot more intense. As Australians prepare to head to polls on May 3rd, a major controversy has erupted, this time involving foreign interference, and all eyes are on China. A viral video recently made the rounds on social media showing volunteers from a Chinese community group in Australia actively supporting an independent candidate. So what is the problem? That group, the Australia Hubei Association, an organization with known ties to the Chinese Communist Party's United Front Work Department. And that department is no ordinary diplomatic body. It is Beijing's global influence machine used to advance China's agenda, China's interests abroad through soft power, subtle coercion, and political influence. In the video, the volunteers are seen campaigning for Monique Renee, an independent MP from Melbourne. Speaking in Mandarin, they said she better represents the needs of Chinese people, quote unquote, and that the association president, and I quote again, demanded support for her. Demanded. Reports also say the same group plans to back other candidates, and the list includes the Labour Party's Claire O'Neill and Greens contender in the hopes of swaying votes in key constituencies. So this is the whole matter. The footage triggered an immediate response. Australia's Electoral Commissioner, which includes federal police and intelligence officials, the commission that I'm talking about, has launched a formal review, has launched a formal investigation. Under Australian law, foreign interference in elections is a criminal offence, and this video may have just crossed that line. It's not the first time Australia has dealt with such threats. Just last year, a Chinese-Australian businessman was convicted of a foreign interference in the election. And while Canberra's economic ties with Beijing have improved recently, trust, especially on the political front, remains quite fragile. Now, Monique Ryan has been accused of wrongdoing, and Labour's Claire O'Neill clarified that her office declined an offer of volunteer support from the Hubei group. This is her clarification. But the fact that these offers are being made and organized raises uncomfortable questions. Experts believe that CCP may be targeting independent or teal candidates who could hold the balance of power in hung parliament. These candidates are socially progressive but economically centrist. So this is the point, economically centrist, and may be more open to engagement with them. And according to Labour Party's Shadow Minister for Home Affairs, James Patterson, this could be Beijing's strategy to create instability in Australia's political landscape. With elections just a day away, the story is still unfolding. But one thing is crystal clear: foreign interference is no longer a distant threat. It's knocking on the door of Australian democracy. Pakistan's political landscape is under intense scrutiny as a controversial development points to the growing influence of the military. Amid rising tensions with India and a volatile political climate, the military has quietly been decisively consolidated power, raising concerns about quote-unquote a soft coup. Lieutenant General Muhammad Asim Malik, the current Director General of Pakistan's powerful Inter-Service Intelligence (ISI), has now been appointed as the country's National Security Advisor (NSA). For the first time in Pakistan's history, the ISI chief is holding both roles simultaneously. This is a major shift in the balance of power in Pakistan. Traditionally, the NSA was a civilian position, one that reportedly directed to the Prime Minister. But now, Malik will report to Army's Chief General Asim Munir, bypassing Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif altogether. This move centralizes authority in the hands of military, effectively sidelining the civilian government in matters of national security, in the matters of intelligence coordination, and most importantly, diplomacy, especially with the neighboring countries like India. Now, Malik's appointment comes at a time when tensions with India are peaking. A deadly terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir that claimed 26 to 28 lives has exacerbated regional instability, and Pakistani military appears poised to take a more assertive role. Some see Malik's dual role as an attempt to formalize the military control over national security policy both domestically and in its dealing with India. Critics argue that this power consolidation signals a deeper erosion of Pakistan's fragile democracy. The move is being seen as by some, and I quote, as a soft coup, the one that consolidates military power without an overt formal takeover. In the past, Pakistan's military has been accused of directly controlling politics, and this latest step further enriches this influence. Lieutenant General Malik is a trusted figure in the military, known for his hardline stance and loyalty to the current military leadership. His rise to prominence is tied to his role in the crackdown against former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his supporters, a period that saw widespread political unrest in Pakistan. Now, while some argue that this centralization of power is necessary in the face of mounting security threats, others fear this could further undermine Pakistan's democratic institutions, weakening civilian control and deepening military dominance in Pakistan. So this is a big threat. But one thing is certain, one thing is crystal clear: with the military firming the control, Pakistan's national security policy is no longer just about protecting borders. It is about securing political powers in Rawalpindi, not just Islamabad. But we will keep an eye on this situation. And that's all I have for you on the show tonight. Now I will see you on Monday. Until then, take care and good night.